This is Dr. Young. I just want to spend a few minutes going over 21, chapter 21. We are continuing talking about the revolutions. We mentioned those briefly last chapter, and revolutions and nation building. So now we're kind of moving into the mid 19th century. Very important, 1848, for a couple of reasons. First of all, because of the major revolutions that are taking place in Europe, and also the publication of the Communist Manifesto. And really, this is going to kind of actually even feed or actually even add more motivation to this idea of new ideologies that we talked about last week. But then there's something else that we need to kind of focus in on, and we mentioned it just briefly last chapter, and that was nationalism. What is that? Well, nationalism is this idea that we have a common culture, we have a common language, we have a common history, and we kind of want to be our own separate, independent, and legitimate country. So nationalism, of course, is not only just love for your country, but you have to have nationalism before you can have a country. And so one of the things that's happening, of course, during this period of time is this increase of nationalism. At the same time, you see a focus on liberalism. So both of these things are closely associated. And this, of course, is going to add more problems into the mix, if you will, as we go through the 19th century. Now, eventually, later on, we're going to be looking at the unification of Germany and the unification of Italy. So this is an important point, even though it's not going to happen now in this period of time. It's going to happen at the very end of this 1871. In fact, Germany becomes a country in 1870. But it's important to understand that this idea, this view of nationalism is going to cause all kinds of problems simply because people are going to want to create their own nation. And again, Europe is already kind of broken up. And if you just look at this, let me just show you a map here as we go down through this and kind of understand how this is important when you look at the languages of Europe, Central Europe. And you can see this problem where these different groups of people, German and the Hungarians, the Romanians, and so forth. All of these people who are so closely connected, and this, of course, is going to cause tremendous problems as we move into this throughout this chapter. So this chapter is important because it begins to focus in on the nationalistic desires for many of these folks living in the central part of Europe, particularly Germany and Italy.